everybody, welcome to Build Brunch, the daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in pop culture. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Allie Colbert.
And I'm Lucas Tim.
Hi, guys.
Guys, just a quick thank you to NBC and Woodford Reserve brand ambassador Michael Toscano for providing us with these $1,000 mint juleps.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
the Kentucky Derby, Saturday, May 4th at 2:30 Eastern on NBC.
Guys, cheers
Yay,
to that.
cheers.
Cheers to NBC,
Cheers.
Kentucky Derby, $1,000 drinks.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
This is literally my favorite thing in the world.
Here we go.
I know we're not gonna get to keep these cups,
Oh, wow, that is
but I'm gonna try
Wow.
to
good and
Wowza.
strong.
Ooh, that just cured the cold I was having. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you guys, today we're going to talk about Seth Rogan's confession for his on-screen performances, a movement to stop those unsolicited dick pics, and how watching horror films can get you in the mood. Plus, Jet and Ali Tila joined the table to discuss their new cookbook. But first,
guys, May marks the start of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, a celebration of Asian and Pacific Islanders in the United States. Here to kick it off and tell us more is HuffPost Asian Voices editor Kimberly Yam.
yes.
How you doing today, Kim?
I'm good. A little stressed, drowning in work, but it's okay. It's for the culture.
Aren't we all, right? We're just doing
For
the
the
best we
culture.
can. So tell us exactly what is Asian Pacific American Heritage Month?
Yeah, so this is a time where we celebrate the contributions of Asian American, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian people, which doesn't really happen very often in mainstream media. But yeah, it actually started, so it was officially signed into law in 1992, I believe. And so it takes place in May because that's when the first Japanese immigrants came over to the US in 1843. And then it also commemorates when the Transcontinental Railroad was completed, which is mostly built by Chinese workers. But we don't necessarily celebrate the workers behind this railroad.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Nice. And how can we play a role in this month?
Yeah, I think, so Asian Americans have been so erased from history, from media, from culture, even from news, and I think a lot of us are trying to change that right now. Even, talking about the Transcontinental Railroad, there's this picture of the last spike, and this picture, there's all these men celebrating this last spike going into the railroad, and there are no Asian people in it. There are no Chinese people in it. So we are quite literally erased. And so I think the best way to really celebrate this month is by supporting Asian American media, supporting, just uplifting the voices of other Asian Americans who are really doing something out there, enacting change. And I know for me, the first piece we published for Heritage Month was actually a piece on Phil Yu, who is Angry Asian Man, who he really, was a pioneer in the digital media space. So for me, as an Asian American who covers Asian Americans in news, it was important to, tip the hat to someone who really came first and really made it so that we had agency over our own anger and our own, voices. And so, that's personally how I will be celebrating the month, is tipping my hat to the people who came before us and really trying to uplift the voices of people who are out there doing stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's just so important, I think, to just increase everyone's awareness about who everyone is, we are a beautiful and diverse country, and just celebrating those differences and things like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I think, for a true accurate representation of what the U.S. looks like, I think we do have to start talking about, the people who have given back, given this country so much. And I think, going into this industry, I saw how, our own news, our own voices just aren't there. They're just so erased. And so I think it is important that we give a more accurate presentation of what the country actually looks like, the diverse voices, in our history.
Yeah. And on that note, I think for the first time ever, we have, 2 of the 45,000 people running for president are of Asian descent. Andrew Yang, who you probably do not know, but Senator Kamala Harris is of Indian descent, and she's part of the Asian American caucus in the Senate. So this is the first time we're seeing, prominent Asian figures run for the highest office in the land.
Yeah, and there's also Tulsi Gabbard.
Hawaiian.
And it's interesting because I think I've covered Andrew Yang before in the past, and it's very funny because people kind of say, why would you bring up his identity? Focus on the issues. That's what we need to be talking about in this race. But if we erase his identity and we don't talk about his Asian Americanness, we're coming from a place where it's assumed that he is on the same playing field as everyone else, that people of color are on the same playing field as everyone else. And we don't live in a post-racial society. We just simply do not. Factually, that's just untrue. And so I think it's important, when there are people speaking up, when there are people, pioneering different spaces, to talk about how their identity plays into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important too for people to seek out the art created by our Asian American community, especially now. I think we're seeing less stereotypes and more authentic narratives being displayed. So I always say, go check out some documentaries, some shows, some stand-ups, and actually immerse yourself in the culture a little more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think it's important to, support media that actually accurately reflects who we are.
Absolutely. Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today and for celebrating Asian Pacific American Heritage Month with us.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Well, guys, actor Seth Rogan is notorious for his roles as a pothead in stoner flicks. However, during a recent appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, the star admitted just how often he's high when filming scenes.
You do enjoy the occasional marijuana cigarette, my understanding is.
Yeah, I smoke weed all day, every day of my life.
Have you ever performed? You ever acted high?
For the last 20 years, exclusively.
Right.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, any movie we see you in, there's a fairly good chance that you're high.
There's 100%. Yes.
It's the most unsurprising thing
Yeah,
ever.
I'm glad you clarified that for us. I was really worried about that.
A quick note, I just want to say Seth Rogen has finally kind of grown into his own. He looks really nice on the show. I mean, for Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
And that sounds like such a dig. He just he's finally he used to be just this sloppy, heavy dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And that suit fits him well. He's kind of rocking the beard in this intellectual kind of hipstery
Well,
way.
he got rich.
Well, and he turned into a hot dad, kind of.
He just looks he just looks better than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Money.
think he's like a domestic